Okay. So this week we're in week 3 of our series called Inside Out, and the whole series is about what is on the inside affecting the outside. And we've talked, a ton about whatever you think or whatever's in here is going to come out of here. But more importantly, whatever's in here and here is going to be expressed in how you live your life. And today I just want to ask a question to start. Have you ever done or not done the right thing when you knew you should have done it, you just decided not to do it? And what I mean is, like, maybe you've seen somebody on the side of the road, I've done this plenty of times, and you decide not to give them money, right? They're asking for money and you decide not to give them money. Or maybe somebody dropped their books in the hallway at school and you just decide that, yeah, you could help them, but maybe not this time. Or maybe it's somebody who's being bullied, and maybe you didn't add on to the bullying, but maybe you just kind of turned a blind eye. Because in all these situations, I think that the thing that makes us make that decision is because we start thinking about our own schedule, and we think about our own time, and we start thinking about how it's going to affect whatever we're actually trying to get to, right? Maybe it's something bigger than that, but what we can all agree with, I think, is that choosing the right thing isn't naturally the choice that you'd make. It doesn't always come naturally, does it? And I mean, we can all agree that there are some people who need our help. There's some people who need food. There's some people who need water. There's some people who need a place to sleep at night. We know this. We all know this all the time. And we especially think about them a lot of the times, like during holidays when we'll do food drives for people, particularly around Thanksgiving or Christmas time. But what keeps us from being motivated to continue to help them all the time? And I think that there's a couple reasons, and the main 3 that I think is either we're unaffected by the situation, meaning that person that you pass by, you don't know them and you'll never meet them probably, so it doesn't really affect your life. Or think like a shopping cart, right? Like if you leave a shopping cart out, we've talked about this. If you leave a shopping cart out, then it's not going to bother you because somebody else is going to have to pick it up, right? Or somebody else is going to have to move it. It doesn't have anything to do with you. So we're unaffected. We don't think we're going to make a difference. And that's in situations where you think the problem is just too big, like world hunger, right? You think that the problem's too big, it's too much bigger than you, so you can't really affect that at all. Or maybe you're just too busy living your life, and sometimes that just can be the case. It may not be that you're mad about, or that you're not going to help that person because you think it's a bad idea, but it's just you're busy. But when it all comes down to it, boil all those 3 things down. Basically, it's just when we're not motivated. And maybe the question, though, isn't if we are or not motivated, but maybe the question is, what are we motivated by? You see, a lot of the times, especially in Christianity and the way that we do Christianity in America, I said it very specifically like that for a reason. The way we do it causes us to feel guilty in certain situations, and we feel like we need recognition or affirmation for the things that we do, and then in some situations we just don't have motivation at all. We just ignore things. But it's important to know what motivates us, because what motivates you determines the response to problems. And just in the same way, what we believe on the inside determines what we do on the outside. Whatever motivates us here determines how we react to things out here. So what if we just need to find a better motivator or a different motivator? Well, today we'll say that that's the case, and I think it is. Maybe you'll agree with me after this, but we'll look at Isaiah for that. So go ahead into Isaiah 1, and we're going to be in verse 16 and 17. And Isaiah is part of the books of the Bible called prophecy, and it's said that because Isaiah was a prophet, and a prophet basically was somebody who heard directly from God, and then that person was to tell the people of God what God said. And basically, in the beginning of all this with Moses, God set a very specific set of laws and rules and guidelines with a very specific way to do them. for his people, and they kind of messed that up. They got a little bit off track, and so God would use prophets to help his people get back on track and to listen to him and to hear from him. And what we're looking at today is how prophets kind of operate, because they typically start off with the bad news, right? There was issues with the people of God because of the way that they treated one another. Of course, they were motivated, and I think a lot of us are, they were motivated to worship God religiously, like to do the right things and to say the right things and to sacrifice the right way and, show up to temple. But they were ignoring the needs of the people around them, and that's specifically what Isaiah is looking at. And the people around them were hungry, they were dying, they were being oppressed, they were taken advantage of. And God is very plainly here, that we're about to look at in 116, very plainly just says, stop going through the motions and start caring about what I care about. Because when you care about what I care about, things will fall into place a little bit better. But we'll check out what he said. In 116, Isaiah says, wash yourselves and be clean. Get your sins out of my sight. And I think if we heard God say this, we would understand that he was upset. We would understand that maybe there was something wrong with what we were doing. And God was saying that. He was telling his people that you're completely missing the point. You're completely missing what you're supposed to be doing. He tells them to take care of the people around you. Because what God knows is the life that he designed for us is more about, is more than being motivated by religion and guidelines and checklists and doing things the right way and saying things the right way and looking the right way. God knows that the way he created us and designed us is so much more than that. And then he continues in 117, he tells them what to do about it. He says, learn to do good, seek justice, help the oppressed, defend the cause of orphans, fight for the rights of widows. So notice he didn't say, I need you to go to temple more. Y'all are being bad, but I need you to go to the temple more. I need you to be there more. Just be there. He didn't say, I need y'all to pray longer. I need y'all to use bigger words and say the right things when you pray to me. He didn't say, I need you to sacrifice more. I need you to act the right way and offer the right kind of sacrifices to me, right? But he wanted them to be motivated, and this is where we get this clue in for our motivation. He wanted them to be motivated by the people that he cared about, because he cared about his people, and he wanted them to be motivated by that. And he told them in 17 the right way to live it. He just laid it out very plainly, very clearly, very straightforward. He tells them and tells us, in being part of his people, to care deeply for the people around us. And the reason that he does this, and this is everything here, and if we can get this here and in here, then the way that we live out here will be totally different. But he knows, God knows, because he's created us and designed us in a very specific way. He knows that we'll have a more fulfilling life with a greater purpose when we're motivated by helping and serving other people. And so the question that I have is, what if we allowed ourselves to be motivated by the way God sees the world? I think, because he sees people in a specific way because he made them, right? He sees them as worthy. He sees them as loved. He sees them as people to be served and to be cared for. He sees people as a beautiful creation, as part of his creation. And he wants us to see people that same way. And so what if we're motivated by the way that God sees people? So how do we turn that into action? That's the steps today, and he lays them out. Learn to do good. And that can mean a lot of things, but I think one thing that it means is pay attention to the good that's being done around you. Pay attention to what others are doing good. Pay attention to the goodness of others so that you can, in turn, imitate that and do that as well and learn that. Seek justice. And that doesn't just mean That doesn't just mean say that you seek justice or that you're for justice. I know that this is a very important topic, especially right now. But that means on a personal level, because if we're talking about people, then it's personal. And what God is saying here is for us to seek justice on a personal level. That means talk to people around you that are oppressed, that are hurting. Ask them how you can help them, how you can partner with them, how you can be with them and seek justice with them. Ask them how you can help. And then it says, help the oppressed. That's part and parcel with the one right before it. It's just pay attention to those people who get knocked down by society or knocked down by other people or are treated poorly, maybe because of the way that they are, or the way that they act, or the way that they dress. Because most of the time, people who are treated poorly are the people who need people the most. Help the oppressed. Speak up for someone that's being bullied. Don't just turn a blind eye and not engage in it. Befriend the marginalized. You know, the classic is sit with that person who's sitting by themselves. But pay attention to the people who are not quite taken care of, and take care of them. Maybe that means fundraising for clean water for an area that's very close to you or not. But help the oppressed. Help. It's an action verb. Help. And then the last two is defend the cause of orphans, fight for the rights of widows. These aren't just metaphors, or it's not just saying care for those people who don't have anybody. This could be quite literal in your situation. Like, care for those single parents in your community. Care for kids who maybe don't have friends or maybe don't know their parents. Care for them because they need help. They need to be shown love just like everybody else does. So what I want to ask to close is, what if we all chose to do these, I'm going to say 4 things. What if we all chose to learn, to seek, to help, and to defend? It's just 4 things. Learn, seek, help, defend. Because if we learn those things, those are things that are going to be on our inside. Learning is here. Seeking is here. Helping is here. Defending is here. And once we do that in here, and once we change the motivation on our inside, then our outside actions are going to change as well. And the way that we live our life is going to change as well. The motivation within us should be determined by how God views the world around us. Because that's when we discovered that we're going to be the ones that are changed, and we're going to be changed for the better. I hope that this message helps. I hope that it helps you see the world in a different way. I hope it shows you that there's always going to be opportunity to learn and seek and to help and to defend. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.